Hello, this is Julia Hepburn, and today we're gonna do a very interesting challenge. We're going to shoot in the same location with the Ricoh GR4 and the Contax Tvs. Let's go. To say, at the beginning of my session, I wasn't completely sure how I wanted to approach my challenge. I couldn't decide whether to focus more on people, reflections, or details. On top of that, managing two cameras at the same time was quite challenging, and I started feeling frustrated about missing the right moments, and the amount of people around didn't help either. I first started to shoot in an area that was extremely busy, like crazy busy. And because I'm holding the Ricoh on my wrist and I don't have any neck holder for the TVS, was a little bit complicated, like a lot complicated to shoot exactly the same frame in the same moment in the next couple of minutes. And also the amount of people, you have no idea how many people there were there. And it makes me very overwhelmed. So I decided to step back from that area because I know that I will not do anything good, and to move in a quieter area where I can actually focus more on what I'm doing. So this is my first tips for people. Like, if you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes it's a good feeling because it pushes yourself, but other time it can stop you. And I was starting feeling too much intensity vibes, so that was why I decided to move away. But so far so good. I've always seen myself as someone who uses a lot of color in their pictures, but since getting the Ricoh, I've really enjoyed shooting with the monochrome simulation. Also, shooting in JPEG feels quite refreshing. I didn't edit this picture much at all, just adjusted the contrast and exposure a little, but there's no masking or retouching. In a sense, they feel quite raw to me. I'm not sure if that's because I've been shooting more on film lately, or simply because, in my main job, I'm always retouching images. As for the TVS, even though it's a simple point-and-shoot camera, it's one I'm still learning to understand and appreciate. I had to remember to turn off the flash before every shoot to keep the challenge fair. The lens has a manual zoom range from 28 to 56mm, and I think sometimes I wasn't exactly at 28mm. Challenge, I decided to use aperture priority for both cameras. For this reason, I set up the Ricoh with the ISO 400, that is exactly the same ISO that I'm using in the Contax, the aperture to f8, and the rest will be managed by the camera. These limitations, I have to say, are quite interesting and make you really realize, like, oh my god, how easy it is actually to use digital cameras nowadays. However, I like a good challenge and I really wanted to do something like this since a long time. I decided to use the TVS because it has a 28mm, so it's closer to the Ricoh, and also because it's compact. I know what I just said, and most of the photos you have seen so far were shot with the same settings. But at some point I decided to be a bit more free with the Ricoh, because I felt like I was missing important shots. I'm still learning how to use this tiny camera properly, and all the custom settings I have applied.
focal length really pushes me to get closer to my subjects, but the camera size and discreet design help me blend into the crowd without interfering with people's lives. That's the kind of street photography I appreciate the most. I think as women, we often feel under the gaze of unwanted attention, and I know that discomfort well. Being an observer of reality and documenting even fleeting moments makes me feel part of that world, just for an instant, without being an intrusive presence. I found this quite funny because in my fashion photography work I do the opposite. I direct my own reality while making sure people feel comfortable. This duality fascinates me, and I still can't fully explain why. The more I challenge myself and confront my own insecurities, the more confident I become and the more I learn from my mistakes. As usual, I wasn't sure if any of the film shots would turn out well, but I have to say, I really like them. I actually think some of them are stronger than the Ricoh shots. Still, with the Ricoh, I could shoot more freely without worrying too much, which is definitely one of the perks of the digital photography. Overall, I consider this challenge a success. It had a rough start, but I ended up with some great shots from both cameras. Thanks so much for watching and for all your comment. It really means a lot to me. If you have any tips or suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll see you next time. Ciao!